Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullah, barakatuh, alhamdulillah. Alright, so this new rumor coming on, people talking about, that, we say that the earth is shaped like a chicken egg or something like that. They took it, out of content, and, what we're gonna talk is about geodesy. Um, so, um, I can teach you guys, and, you guys can, answer, these questions. You know what I mean? Because, uh, you know, the Earth is not a perfect, sphere, not at all. So, um, I'll catch you guys on the next clip. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah barakatuh alhamdulillah. This year has been more usual numbers in reference to the flat Earth conspiracy in the news, including some fascinating Twitter tirades. I think that as good as a reason as anyone to talk about a field of engineering and earth science that you may have heard it before. It's called, geology. I'm Islamic Prince, where we're going to dip our toes into the pool of technical details behind current events and non events. How does pilots know which direction to head when they're over the ocean with no landmarks? How do we know the exact boundaries between our parcels and land between states and countries? These are questions which we are going to answer with geodesy, the science of how characterize and shape the size of the Earth. You see, it's easy to compare the distance to directions, locations close to one another, but it's a whole different matter, that when we're far apart. Geodesy provides mathematical frame, work we need to make, calculations about the globe. The answer, the question like, how can, GPS satellite guide me to the nearest taco stand? Well, How can it? You can't make measuring tape between 2 points on Earth. You just can't. So to be able to calculate distance between me and my favorite taco joint, I need to use coordinate systems. For a short distance, it's perfectly fine to assume things that are flat are used, uh, you know, karst, Karstetten, coordinates, but, over long distance assumption starts to break down, because of the drawing of a straight line of two locations actually pass through the Earth rather than along its surface. You get what I mean? Right there. Flat, earthers, say that Earth is not a sphere, and I have agreed with them on that. We could use a, spherical coordinate system to define location using radius, polar angle, azimuth, instead of x and y. Well, I did say almost as simple, but Earth is just too bumpier than that. And in fact, because of its rotation, the Earth actually bulges, along the equator. It's not a sphere at all. It's not a perfect circle. And unfortunately, the bumpy, bulging coordinate system makes calculating things, like distance, challenging. So if it's not impossible, um, to bridge over the, cartographic gap between me and Delicious Taco, we need to, idolize model on the Earth, and it turns out, and it turns out that there are three-dimensional shapes, that matches the Earth fairly well. The oblate spheroid. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Also, is known as the ellipsoid. Geology has defined numbers of reference lapisoids over the years to try to match shape of the Earth for using this performing geodetic computations. The reference ellipsoid serves as a basis for coordinate systems, which we all know and love. Latitude and longitude. The math isn't quite simple as Cartesian or a spherical system, but it's much more accurate. In fact, satellites, which form our global positioning system, or GPS, uses reference ellipsoid to calculate a receiver location anywhere on Earth. Mapping software can take data from GPS satellite and perform computations with a very high precision. For example, the distance between me and well, you know, the taco. They say that no, whatever we go, there you are. You know, and know this better than a geologist. They take the irregular atmosphorous rock that we live on and give structure, form, definition, providing a framework for a whole host of science and technologies. Geology tells us if it looks like an ellipsoid. Geology tell us, you know, if it looked like an ellipsoid and it spins like an ellipsoid, it might be the Earth. Thank you for watching. Islamic Prince in the house. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to talk a lot more about other things and stuff like that. Thank you for watching. Okay, so I hope this explained this myth about us thinking that the world is an Easter egg, basically. Um, you know, for everything that somebody would say about Islam, it's totally the opposite. So you can't just take somebody's word and believe it, you know, without reading it, you know what I mean, and doing a study on it. So, you know, my job is to get the misconceptions out. As soon as I hear a misconception, I go ahead and study it. You know, this is what I do. You know, is defeat the misconception. I might not be the smartest guy in the world, but you know, I do my best. You know what I mean? Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah barakatuh. Keep up the faith and don't worry about what people say. So this is the first time I've heard this. You know, people saying that you know the Earth is shaped like an egg. So I had to you know debunk this myth. All right. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah.